camera. So you know this time of year, this is that time of year where the rumors and leaks start dropping for all of these flagship phones and everything. But we're right around the corner from the OnePlus 7. And from what I've been reading, bro, I have not been this hyped for a phone in a long time. Have you heard some of the stuff?
I've seen some, yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. I cannot wait for this phone to drop. I'm so excited.
But endgame though.
But don't get me started on that. Let's just make a video. All right, so the rumor mill and the hype train have been in full swing for OnePlus's latest flagship phones, the OnePlus 7 and the OnePlus 7 Pro. And in this video, we're gonna go over everything you guys should expect when these two phones launch in just 2 weeks. Guys, we are 14 days away from what I feel may be one of the best phones of 2019. I wanna spend a little time talking about why I really appreciate a company like OnePlus. So anytime they've released a device, they've always valued putting flagship quality specs into that device, but pricing it in a way where it's super, super competitive in a market where phones now cost $1,000 and not too many people are fazed by that anymore. Now, ordinarily, when OnePlus launches a device, they launch one device typically towards the first quarter of the year and another device towards the last quarter of the year, with that last device being more of a refresh of the original device launched towards the beginning of the year. But this time around, OnePlus is planning on launching 3 different variants of the OnePlus 7, and who knows if we're gonna get that end of the year refresh. Now, OnePlus launching multiple phones at once allows them to do a couple things. The first thing is they can launch a device that sticks true to their roots, meaning the best value and best bang for the buck for their consumers who are really concerned about how much they're spending on a new phone. And the second thing they can do is launch phones that push the envelope but are a little more expensive. So the best bang for your buck phone is obviously going to be the standard OnePlus 7, and the phones that push the envelope are going to be the OnePlus 7 Pro and the OnePlus 7 5G. Now they're going to include technologies that OnePlus really hasn't put in any of their previous phones, but they're also going to come with more expensive price tags. But the advantage of launching all these phones is that they seem to have a phone that fits every single one of what their customers want. Now let's talk about our value phone, the OnePlus 7. In terms of design, it's going to look really similar to the OnePlus 6T with that in-display fingerprint sensor, 1080p AMOLED display, and the teardrop notch sitting at the top. So if you currently have a OnePlus 6T, you're not going to see too much of a difference between that and the 7, albeit the 7 is going to come with the new Snapdragon 855, the new Adreno GPU, and about 6 gigs of RAM according to our rumors. Now, the rear cameras, there are 2 of them still, but they have been upgraded. The primary sensor is now sitting at 48 megapixels with a 16 megapixel telephoto lens, so expect better ability in the camera department. Now, in terms of battery capacity, you're looking at a rumored 4,150 milliamp hours, so a massive battery inside the OnePlus 7. Now, the price hasn't leaked yet, but if I'm willing to bet, I'm gonna say it's anywhere in the high 500s to mid 600s US dollar. Now, I'm only basing this off of the fact that the current 6T goes for $549, and the price of the 7 Pro is going to be in the mid 700s, so it makes sense for the 7 to be in the high 5s to mid 6s. Kind of differentiates the two phones a little better in terms of price. Now let's talk about the OnePlus 7 Pro, which is going to be the phone that OnePlus is going to use to test the markets for a more expensive flagship phone. And there are a lot of upgrades and new changes coming with this model, so bear with me while I go through all of them. Let's start off with the display. So for the first time, OnePlus is rumored to be using a Quad HD AMOLED panel, which according to DisplayMate has earned their highest score for a display. This means that the new display of the OnePlus 7 Pro can compete with the likes of Samsung's displays and Apple's displays, which I guess are technically made by Samsung. So OnePlus can now compete with Samsung's displays. That's going to be awesome because the Galaxy S10 Plus and even the Note 9 before it had basically the 2 best displays on a smartphone. And one of my gripes with almost any OnePlus phone I've ever used, and I know this kind of sounds first worldish, but I've always wanted OnePlus to step it up to Quad HD instead of using 1080p just because of the overall quality of the better display. That's not even the best part. This is the rumored OnePlus 7 Pro display is also going to be 90 Hertz in terms of refresh rate. Now, There are a couple phones, mainly the Razer phone, that use 120 Hz refresh rates in their displays, and the phones look absolutely butter. I'm not sure how the 90 Hz display is going to work, and I know OnePlus is going to have to incorporate even more technology to make it work, but in theory, if they pull off this 90 Hz display paired with a Snapdragon 855 processor and at least 8 to 12 gigs of RAM, man, this phone is going to be one of the smoothest Android experiences you guys are ever going to experience. Now, another important thing to note about the OnePlus 7 Pro's display, there's not going to be any notches, there's not going to be any display cutouts, and from what OnePlus is saying, there's not even going to be any bezels. So how is this going to work? Obviously, there will have to be some sort of bezels to fit in an earpiece, but they're going to be really, really minimal. And in terms of a selfie camera, OnePlus is going to utilize a new slide-up selfie camera mechanism. Again, like I said, testing the waters in terms of new things they can bring to a phone. Now, of course, this isn't the first phone to come to the market with a slide-up selfie camera mechanism, but it's the first time we've seen OnePlus incorporate it in their design. Now let's talk about the rear cameras. Now I mentioned on the OnePlus 7 that you're getting 2 lenses. On the OnePlus 7 Pro, you're getting 3 lenses. Obviously, you're going to keep that 48 megapixel primary and you're going to keep that telephoto, but OnePlus has also added an ultra wide angle to the back of the OnePlus 7 Pro, and early photos have now surfaced which show the OnePlus 7 Pro taking photos in a variety of situations, including 3 times optical zoom, and through the magical power of editing, we can show them right now. Now, I want to highlight a couple things about these photos. One, in the photo of the racetrack that's not zoomed, it's just a standard wide angle shot, the OnePlus 7 Pro does a great job of using dynamic range to balance the shadows on the left with the bright sun glaring down on the racetrack on the right half of the photo. Now let's talk about that night shot. Look at the way OnePlus handles the lack of light in this night shot. Now I'm sure that's not just the lenses themselves. I'm sure OnePlus has added some computational photography similar to what Google uses with the Pixel. But hey, these early camera samples look really nice. And if they're indicative of anything to expect with the OnePlus 7 Pro, you can expect their cameras to compete with the best phones on the market. Now, in terms of the battery on the OnePlus 7 Pro, you're looking at 4,000 milliamp hours. So smaller than the OnePlus 7, but hey, 4,000 milliamp hours is still a lot, and OnePlus phones have a really good reputation of having long battery life. I still use my 6T McLaren edition every now and then, and I get through a full day of use with no problem. We're just gonna have to see how that battery life holds up with that new awesome display. Now, in terms of charging, OnePlus has brought the 30-watt warp charging introduced with the 6T McLaren to the OnePlus 7 line. And in terms of accessories, 2 of them have already leaked, including new Bullets Wireless 2 and a 30-watt car charger. 30-watt car charger. That's insane. And of course, as mentioned earlier, there is a third model called the OnePlus 7 Pro 5G. It's essentially the OnePlus 7 Pro with built-in 5G modems, which is getting everyone ready for the wave of 5G. Now, would I recommend buying this so early in 2019? I personally wouldn't. One, 5G phones are really, really expensive compared to phones that just use 4G. And two, cell phone carriers are not there yet whenever it comes to 5G. I don't think 2019 is the year of mainstream 5G. I think it's the year of bleeding edge 5G. So if you really, really want to be in 5G now and not really have any use for it yet, then sure, spring the extra cash for the OnePlus 7 Pro 5G. But for the rest of you out there that are not on the 5G hype train yet, just stick with the standard OnePlus 7 Pro. Now, the standard OnePlus 7 Pro pricing has leaked, and it looks like you're looking at 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. That'll set you back, accordingly, $749 US, which still isn't bad considering all the upgrades I've mentioned. Now, the OnePlus 7 Pro 5G pricing has not leaked, but like I said, you can expect it to be more expensive than the standard OnePlus 7 Pro because of those built-in 5G modems and capabilities. All right, guys, so that just about does it with all the rumors and what you should expect when the OnePlus 7 and OnePlus 7 Pro launch in about 13 days. Now, as always, these are leaks and rumors, but they've been leaked by really credible sources who have been correct in the past. So while you should take these leaks with a pinch of salt, just know that there is a slight degree of accuracy to them too, mainly because the sources are credible. Now, I'm really, really excited for these phones, and OnePlus has hyped them up so much. I mean, they've been dropping teaser YouTube videos, they've already dropped the event date, they've already invited people to buy tickets. They even took out a full-page ad in a very popular newspaper recently talking about the best parts of this phone and bashing other companies. Just to mention some of the things they've said in this newspaper ad, they show no notch, no bezels, no $2,000 price tag, no app bloatware, no lag, and no unwanted music. I mean, they took shots at Huawei and Samsung with the foldable phones that cost $2,000. They took shots at Apple with the notch and the music that no one wants on their phone pre-downloaded. More shots at Samsung for the lag and the app bloatware. I mean, OnePlus is calling out everybody, and this phone is hyped to be really, really awesome. The OnePlus 6T won my pick for best phone of 2018, and I wouldn't be surprised if the OnePlus 7 Pro, if they can nail that price tag, would win best phone of 2019, and we haven't even got to the Note 10 or the Pixel 4. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let me know if you're hyped for it. Let me know if you're gonna buy it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe while you're down there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, and we're gonna recap the OnePlus 7 when it launches, okay? That much anyways. We're about 13 or 14 days away from the official launch event, and OnePlus 7 has hyped up this phone. OnePlus 7.